Francis of Assisi has been part of my life for a very long time. I haven't always understood why, but let me tell you how it started. In the early 2000s, I was well down my spiritual path, and a man that I was involved with was very familiar with Francis of Assisi and thought I might enjoy watching Brother Sun, Sister Moon. It was a movie made by Franco Zeffirelli in the 70s. We watched the movie and I was captivated. I was so captivated that streams of tears flowed down my face in that very first viewing. I watched it for the next 20 nights in a row. I couldn't get enough. There was something that really resonated for me about the movie, the story of his life, how it was depicted, the awakening that he was having and experiencing, the assistance he got along the way, the blockages that he faced within his own self and, of course, with the Catholic Church. But I'm not Catholic. And so I wondered why I resonated so deeply with this saint. I hadn't really studied the saints. I hadn't really dived into much of the Christian tradition. It's not my thing overall. I respect some parts of it. I respect the original teachings. I certainly respect the universal consciousness that many of the saints, as deemed saints by the Catholic Church, discovered and evolved into for themselves while incarnated on the earth. But in following that movie, I read a lot about Francis of Assisi. I read about his life, the start of uh, his order, the Franciscans, how it evolved and how it developed. I've always been interested in medieval history, so this was in the late 12th, early 13th century. He died in 1226 from that incarnation. He was only 44. So, as I read more and more, I was more or less captivated by his consciousness and his relation to the creatures of the earth, the natural world, placing his feet, his bare feet, firmly on the ground. I have never liked shoes. I've always wanted to be barefoot and am still in the house, for sure. I wear sandals often. I don't like socks, but there's a connection there. There's a reverence for the earth and a reverence for the creatures of the earth. And he very naturally demonstrated that. But I think he evolved into it. This isn't a history lesson about Francis, but what he signifies for me, his significance for me, is that he evolved beyond what I would call the traditional Christian mysticism. He was of a universal consciousness. He recognized his divine spirit, his divine spark. He recognized that he was connected to all that is. He recognized that he was as divine as one as the creatures. He recognized that he was as divine and even as worthy as those who have walked before him, but also as anyone else around him. All of those other people, the lepers, even the tradesmen, even those who sought money. That was not his thing. He walked away from money, a lot of money. But he had compassion for those who were caught in the idea that money was the thing to worship. He had more compassion for those who were outcast because he was outcast by his own town of Assisi. And he tended to those who were outcast. And he never thought that he was better than they. He never thought that they were less than he was. He had to come over his own inner obstacles. He had to come over his own ideas about the way society was treating these people, about the hierarchy of society. But my relationship with him has evolved over the years. It has not been a particularly poignant relationship until recently. Again, until recently. But he has always been present. There have been several people who have just come up to me and said, "You know you have Francis energy around you." And it doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me is that he is willing to talk with me, work with me, even channel through me. And he is as boisterous and joyous and playful as he is sometimes depicted. He is not caught up in the Christian religion. In fact, Francis of Assisi is just an aspect of his overall soul. It's the most recognizable aspect of his soul that still lives on the planet now. In fact, his 800-year death anniversary approaches. And I'm not doing this video because of that. I just am aware of it. But as we share more and more time together, we've shared many lifetimes together, but as we share more and more time together in this incarnation, it's clear that he has some things to say. There's already a trust there. And so I'm willing to allow him to work with my instrument in order to bring forward what he would like to say. We have a lot of fun. We also understand that this is a time for a great shift, and it is already occurring. It is well underway. We have a long ways to go. But on the planet Earth, we are returning to being part of the earth. We are returning to our divinity, to the recognition that we are one with all of life, one with each other, one with a divine source, whatever you choose to call that. So that is why he is coming forward now and wants to really push us to reconnect with the earth and the animals and all that is part of the earth, even within the earth. Also to connect with our own divine feminine aspects. He is coming forward so he can share his message of playfulness and compassion. I don't know exactly how such a message will land. I don't know how any kind of message from Francis of Assisi will come through, or even if we will follow through with making such a thing public. But nonetheless, it's a very close and dear relationship. It continues to evolve. It feels very intimate. And I want you to know that this has been occurring for some time now. I thought I was channeling the collective or vocalizing the collective. That was a new experience for me, even though that they have been part of my life, or I've sensed that they are part of my life for, almost all of my life. Some energy, some beings, some group of beings was often guiding me or channeling through me in writing or music or in other ways. When Francis stepped forward, I was not surprised, but I was a little reticent to go this extra step or to take this extra path. But I'm quite happy that I did, and I feel like it's time. It's time. If he wants to share his message, and I agree, and I am in collaboration and full agreement with that message and that vocalization of Francis of Assisi, then I'm all in. We'll see. We'll see. It's an exciting time. It's a time that is filled with energy, mysticism, everyday mysticism, living your fullest life, your most multi-dimensional self while here incarnated on the earth, allowing us humanity, the humanity that we are, to evolve, allowing the planet to recapture her grace, to work with her as she does this. For we are all connected to her and to each other and to all that is upon her, all that is throughout the cosmos. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I really appreciate you being here. There'll be more to come in the weeks ahead. Bye for now.